I knew that I was worth more than what was being offered. And then I got nothing for like a year. I auditioned, and got nothing. And so I said, I might as well take advantage of it.
Right.
And so I trademarked it. So the show ended in June of 2016. And I decided, here I go again with my bright ideas, I'm going to start acting. Never taken an acting class a day in my life, had no idea how to do it, but I had seen others make the pivot from TV news, TV hosting, into acting.
Right.
And so I called up some of those people and said, show me how this is done. And again, thank God for community.
That's another theme that keeps coming up.
It keeps coming up. I am so blessed to have people in my life that I can call and ask questions of. And they answer.
Right.
Because there's enough for all of us. I can't do it all. There's 52 weeks in a year. I can't do every commercial.
Right.
I can't do anything. So there's enough for all of us.
Right.
But anyway, those people said, call up this talent agency. They'll give you an audition. And if they like you, they'll sign you. If they don't, they won't. They're not going to string you along.
Right.
They're going to say yes or no that day. That's what I did. I go into this talent agency. I do an audition. I know nothing. And they said, do you have your sides? I'm like, what are sides? Those are your lines. They're like,
when I talk about macaroni and cheese and potato salad here.
Right. I knew nothing. But I did well enough that they signed me. And the very first commercial I auditioned for, I got it. Can you believe that, Stephen? It was a Harris Teeter holiday commercial. And that Harris Teeter holiday commercial aired in 2016, 2017, 18, 19. I think it aired up until the beginning of the pandemic.
Right.
Every year. And that was my first audition.
Right.
But what I learned is I didn't get it because I was good. I got it because I looked the part. It was a commercial about family, about Thanksgiving. So when I got to set and I saw who they cast as my daughter and as my husband, I thought, oh, we look like a real family.
Right.
And so I got it because of how I looked.
And,
so it matters.
Yeah, it does.
Presentation matters. How you look matters.
It does.
And then I got nothing for like a year. I auditioned, and got nothing. But I didn't quit. I kept going. I kept auditioning, and then the work started to come in. And what started to happen was I got cast for a lot of things because of my ability to read a teleprompter. Because in news, that's what I did.
Ding, ding, ding.
So a lot of these things that I got cast for, they weren't the traditional acting things that you would think of. I didn't realize how much acting work there is out there. I knew about commercials.
Right.
I thought, oh, I'll be doing grocery store commercials all the time. Nope, that didn't happen. I got cast for a lot of things that needed a good teleprompter reader. I took it for granted. I thought, this is easy. But it's not. A lot of people are not good at it. So I got cast by the U.S. Army to play an Army nurse. And I don't even remember what I was doing. But as an Army nurse, I had to share some type of message with new recruits.
Right.
And so there I am on teleprompter in fatigues, looking like I'm in the Army.
Right.
And reading a script. I got cast by a pharmaceutical company to play a nurse, to explain how to use a medicine. So I'm holding a needle, I'm holding a bottle of something, and I'm doing this and explaining this is how it works.
Right.
I had no idea all this work existed. But then the word got out.
Right.
Valonda's good at teleprompter. And before you know it, I've got all kinds of work that require me to read the teleprompter.
Right.
So I kind of got pigeonholed, but I was okay with it because I was good at it.
Right.
So why not exploit what I'm good at?
Right.
Well, exploit isn't the right word. I wasn't being exploited, but why not do
Right.
what I was good at?
Right.
And then I learned how to do some other real acting where you got to be expressive in different ways and change your tone and go up and come down. And, I learned how to do other things. And so then I started getting cast to do, other types of acting work.
Right.
I got cast for an IBM promotion
Mm-hmm.
where I'm playing the boss, the COO,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in a real acting role.
Right.
And I was so proud of that because I'd never done anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to get pigeonholed as the boss. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been cast as a CEO,
Right.
a COO, a
Mm-hmm.
CIO. So all these C-suite
Mm-hmm.
type jobs. But again, I was okay with it because I started to get good at
Right.
doing that. And then I got cast to do a lot of voiceover work. And so I've been with my talent agent since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And now they send me out on all kinds of things
Mhm.
because I've learned how to do all kinds of things by being open to it.
Right.
I've been scared to do a lot of these auditions, but say, why not? I might get good at it.
Right. Now, you never want to hear that your job is ending, especially one that you really like and enjoy. But obviously, you were able to not only, pivot from that, but really, it seems like that's giving you kind of this. I don't know what part. What was second, third career?
I've lost track.
What leg do you feel like you're on?
I don't know, Stephen. I haven't even counted how many different careers I have, but thank God that show ended.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why I say that? Because I took a chance on myself once again.
Mm-hmm.
They offered me a job,
Mm-hmm.
and I turned it down, just like I did at that station where they offered me
Mm-hmm.
the anchor job with this much money.
Mm-hmm.
They offered me a reporter job with this much money.
Mm-hmm. How important do you think it's been to know how and when to turn something down?
It's everything. You have to know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to. You can't say yes to everything because it's not always going to be in your best interest.
Right.
I knew that I was worth more than what was being offered to me. They offered me a one-woman band reporter job.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage of, or at that stage of my career,
yeah.
I took that in the early stages
Mhm.
because that's what was appropriate.
Mhm. Right.
I was new,
Mm-hmm.
but at in 2016,
Right.
no,
Right.
I'm not new anymore.
This is in '96. This is 2016.
I have a track record.
Yesterday's
I've
price,
done
not today's
not
price.
today's price. Thank
Right.
you, Fat Joe. I have a track record. I've done good work.
Mhm.
I'm not doing it. So I turned it down with no job.
Right.
Just some advice from people who said, go to this talent agent. So that's all I had. And I did that, and it picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the community came to my rescue once again. Someone I had worked with said, I'm working on this new thing we're doing. We're not bringing My Carolina Today back as it was,
Mhm.
but we're going to do some segments
Mhm.
that are similar to what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be interested? I said, yes,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. So I go back to work at that station,
Right.
but not as an employee,
Mm-hmm.
but as a freelancer,
Right.
which meant I had the freedom
Mhm.
to do the acting and other things that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I go
You taking
back,
control of the situation.
took control of the situation. And so I go back to work there as a freelancer. I come in and do these interview
Mhm.
segments, like I did on My
Mhm.
Carolina Today, where I'm selling things. I'm
Mhm.
selling you flooring. I'm
Right.
selling you clothing. I'm
Mhm.
selling you roof repairs or, whatever,
Right.
lifestyle
Mhm.
stuff. That same friend left that station, went to Ariel,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, Valonda, I'm taking you with me. Thank God for the community.
Mhm.
Thank you, Allison.
Mm-hmm.
And
Shout
so,
out to Allison.
shout out to Allison. And so I did that same work over
Mhm.
at WRL. Not past tense, do, because I'm
Right.
still doing it.
Right.
So I'm still doing that work at WRL. I'm still acting. I still have the freedom to
Mhm.
do so many things.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how much does that mean to you?
It means everything. Shout out to Sharon, my dear friend who I worked with at My Carolina Today. She's a powerhouse,
Mhm.
somebody who you should interview because she just is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But she has helped me out so much. She left My Carolina Today and started her own company and needed some help, brought me in to do media training,
Right.
presentation training. And so now I'm doing that for my own business, but it started with Sharon.
Right.
And so all these things I put together and started my company, ValCo Media. So not working for anyone anymore, but working for myself, doing all the things.
Right.
And having the freedom to be here with you
Right.
on a Friday in the middle of the day.
Right.
You know, I don't have to clock in with anybody.
Right.
I could just block off my calendar and say, I'm going to talk to
And
Stephen.
I'm so grateful. And isn't it amazing? You know, especially when you're used to having to do that. You know, and I think a lot of times, you know, you talk about the times when you got let go and things like that. A lot of times, a lot of people live in fear of those moments. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't come. But even the anxiety that can be around it, you know, is a lot for a lot of people to deal with. But it seems like faith is a big part of how you deal with that. You know, how you know, again, just, you know, I know you say you pray every day, but how big of a role you think that has helped you into navigating all these changes, you know?
It's everything. It's everything. You must have faith, and you must keep going. The only difference between me and other people is I just keep going. You know, people who haven't achieved certain things for whatever reason, keep going. You may not get it when you want it, but you'll get it on time. Because some of the things that I prayed for early on, I wasn't ready for them. If I'd gotten them when I thought that I needed them, I may not have done good work. Or I may not have been ready to hold on to it. But keep going. Don't stop. I think that is, you've got to remember that. Keep going. Have specific prayers. Ask for what you want. Even though I was working, I still wanted more in that period after My Carolina Today ended, after 2016. So I'm talking 2017, 2018, 2019. I was doing okay, but I knew that there was so much more. I had a specific prayer. I said, God, I want to be a spokesperson for a car dealership. Because I'd seen other people who had been reporters and anchors do it successfully.
Right.
So why not me? And the ones that I'd seen didn't look like me. They weren't black women. I thought, why can't I do it? I see white men, I see white women, I see a Latin woman. It's time for a black woman in the triangle.
Right.
So I had that specific prayer, and guess what? It happened. I now represent 5 car dealerships.
Oh, not one. Not
across
two,
the
but
state.
5.
Started with 1.
Right.
And it was 1 for years. And now it's 5.
But you did good work.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly it. I did good work. And so I got the call, can you represent this one? And how about this one? Hey, Valonda, it's me again.
Right.
Can you add one more to your plate? So again, keep going. Keep doing good work.
Right.
And when it's not for you, stop. Don't keep doing something and do it poorly because you're disgruntled or you're upset. If it's time to go, it's time to go. But I keep doing it because I still enjoy it and because I'm good at it. And so I'm proud of the work that I get to do representing these car dealerships, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, and just in this year, some of the things I know you've been able to do. I know you hosted a branding workshop. It was a workshop. Tell us about that workshop, because you also, you know, you talked about teaching at Fayetteville State, but you know, also your work as a helping people, you know, get the best out of themselves.
Yes, so I mentioned my friend Sharon, who brought me into her company at the time to do media training and presentation training. Well, she's not doing that anymore full time. And so I had an opportunity to start doing it for myself. And it started at the beginning. When I said I really want to dive in and do more of this, was when the pandemic happened. So 2020.
Right.
Everybody's home. Everybody's doing Zoom, Skype, Teams, whatever video conference platform you have available to you. That's what everybody was doing. And day after day after day, I'm screaming at my TV, why are you in the dark? Why are you wearing that?
Right, yeah.
Why do you look like that? Why? I'm
Yeah, that's
screaming
very-
at my TV.
That was a very ugly time, and it set precedents that we're trying to now, no, we're now trying to move away from. But
There were so many horrible interviews, so many horrible videos.
people were just sitting at the house, and so they had to watch them. And now people think that that's what's going to stand up. But
My husband said to me, "You know what they need. Why don't you do something about it?" And I said, what can I do? And I said, I'll write a book. So I wrote Tips from the TV Lady in 2021 to address,
link is in the description, guys. Go get it.
thank
Link will
you,
be in the description.
all the horrible things that I was seeing.
Mhm.
But people didn't know. They didn't know that you shouldn't sit with your back to the window
Right.
because you'll be dark. They didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I talk about in the book. They didn't know that if you're dark skinned, you shouldn't wear black because you look like a blob. That you should wear some color so that there's some contrast.
Right.
They didn't know. And so, branding. I chose Tips from the TV Lady because when I was in TV full time, people would come up to me no matter where I was. Hey, aren't you the TV lady? For whatever reason, they couldn't remember my name.
Right.
But they would call me the TV lady. And so I said, I might as well take advantage of it.
Right.
And so I trademarked it. So I own, if you
Okay,
go to the
okay.
U.S. Patent and Trademark Office,
Another lesson.
I own
Right.
the TV lady.
Wow.
So don't you dare try it.
All right. So if I catch you, if we see you, it's on site.
My lawyer's coming after you.
It's on site.
But I own that, and I decided that my brand colors would be cobalt blue
Oh.
and coral.
Okay.
And so that's why I wear cobalt blue and coral, because that's my brand color. Those are my brand colors. And why do I wear cobalt blue? Because it's one of the best looking colors for being on camera. This color looks good on almost everybody, whether you're dark skin, light skin. I sound like that's Beyonce's song from T.S. Madison's. But anyway, no matter what your complexion is, this color looks good on almost everybody.
I'm taking notes.
And it pops.
All right.
This is on purpose.
Right.
So sorry, Fable State. That's the reason why I wear this color. But anyway, so I wrote the book, and then I thought, how can I take this even further? I did an online course, which put that link in the description
The
as
link
well.
will be in the description as well. Yes.
I did an online course, which is all about presentation, how to look your best when you're making a presentation. And I also still do in-person trainings with all kinds of people. I am training in August state elections workers from all over the county because we have an election coming up in November.
Very important.
All these people are going to be interviewed by, not all of them, but a lot of them will be interviewed by the media.
Right.
You don't just go in front of a microphone and start talking.
Yeah.
You
You know, it
need-
seems like that these days, but yes.
But you need to know what you're doing.
Right.
And so I'll be training them. I train all kinds of people on how to speak to the media, but also how to give a presentation. So even if you aren't speaking to the media, maybe you are in sales and you feel like you're not being effective and you need to do better at getting the sale, or maybe you are on stage, you want to do more keynotes, but you feel scared or nervous or you have anxiety about being on stage. Those are my clients as well. And it's all under the TV Lady umbrella.
So we learned we learned umbrellas, we learned colors, we learned trademarking. Obviously, we learned pivoting, doing the importance of doing good work. So many lessons that we can learn
The
from you.
community.
And community.
That's
And-
so important because so many people have been there for me. And I'm
Right.
so thankful.
Well, that's what happens when you're an
So
authentic
thankful.
person, and you know, and people know that if they put your name out there, that you're going to put your best foot forward, you're going to do good work, and they know that, you know, you would do the same for them. And I think in this day and age where, you know, anyone can get on in front of a microphone and get on YouTube and, you know, maybe get some hits and start feeling themselves and things like that, you know, they have to realize there's a certain point where you step outside of here, you know, and that's a part of, if your brand is snootiness, if your brand is this, if your brand is that, you know, you're gonna have to live with that outside of it. And you know, your brand, good work, you know, willing to tackle challenges and pivot, and you know, your faith. I think all of that has obviously been key for you. So I know this year, I know seeing you in the hosting capacity. I know you said you weren't that great at that, but I know you're doing, you know, weddings, and you're also got a chance to over here at WSSU, Tabitha Brown, intro her, as well as with your sorority, that Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, over your regional conference. What are those experiences been like for you this year to see your growth in that area where it wasn't necessarily, it didn't come easy to you, and you had to work at it?
God is so good. I had prayed for a big opportunity to be on an even bigger stage. Yes, I've achieved a lot, but as you've heard throughout this interview, I have big goals. I'm still pushing. I still want more. I still have more to do. And so I'd prayed about a big opportunity. I didn't know what it was going to be. This time I didn't have a specific prayer.
Mm-hmm.
But shortly after, I got the phone call about coming here to WSSU to moderate the discussion with Tabitha Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I was ecstatic because I'm a Tabitha fan, a day one Tabitha fan.
Okay, day one. Okay.
I was following her after she blew up from posting the video about the sandwich, the Whole Foods sandwich, which shot her to stardom.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she was out in LA working, but it was that video about that sandwich that made her a household name. And so I started following her from then. And I thought, oh my gosh, yes. Stop pitching. Yes, I will do it.
Right.
And so that was an amazing opportunity to meet her because she's amazing. And I just couldn't believe that I was going to get to meet her and to talk to her. And I could have done the interview that same day because I knew her story. But again, I wanted to be prepared and do good work.
Right.
And so I did all kinds of research. I watched all kinds of Tab interviews, even though I'd watched a lot of them because I follow her.
Yeah, you're watching them with a different eye this time.
Watched with a different eye and asked other people, what do you want to know from Tab? And so I was prepared and had a great night. And because I did good work, I was told, okay, you're our moderator. We'll call you next time we do this. And I thought, wow. I thought it would be a one-off.
Right.
But then I was told, we want you to do this again. And so that was amazing. Being on a big stage. I mean, I'd never seen so many likes on a post in my life on social media. And it was all because of Tab. You know, all these people reaching out to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know who I am? But it was because of Tab. And then our regional conference. I don't know if you can see that.
Turn it down. There we go.
Yes. That happened. And so, again, huge opportunity in Raleigh to be the MC for the Welcome event in my hometown.
Right,
so that
right.
was a wonderful experience as well. And all these things happen from good work, community, people speaking up for you. Because there's a lot, I graduated in '94. There's a lot of people here at WSSU who don't know me. But because of the community, people like Tony Davis, people like Kim, she was Kim Fair in school, Kim Reese.
Right. Big
They
shout out
spoke
to
up
both
for
Ms.
me
Reese.
and said, Valonda should be the moderator for this. And again, with the Delta event, people from my chapter said, Valonda should be the MC for this. And so there's a theme.
Right.
You know, all those things mean everything. Everything. Did I answer your question? I feel like I missed something.
No, I think you gave us everything that we needed, and I want to make sure, again, in the interest of your time, but also making sure making sure I get everything in. What's next for you, and where can people go to learn more about you, to book you, to host, to see if you can host their event, or just let folks know how they can get in touch with you. And then we'll finish up.
Real easy, ValondaCalloway.com.
She still believes in websites. I know everybody.
Oh my goodness, Stephen Gaither, our website's not a thing anymore.
No. So everybody, well, everybody has a link tree now,
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing to have, but
I have one too.
Right.
I have a link tree.
But it's like, if you go on Instagram, a lot of people that are Instagram, like that's like their own, like that's like they don't have a web home. I know I was watching some video the other day where they were talking about a link tree is okay, but sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes for some people.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, ValCo TV on Instagram.
Right. We will make sure we drop all the links, but I think that's a part of when you talk about branding too, having a website and a landing page, which I'm taking notes from this, so I'm going to give me a landing page as well. Just as you look forward, what would you like for people to know about some of the lessons that you've learned in business and branding that that you feel like people sometimes miss?
Ooh, that they miss. I would say showing up consistently as who you are. People should know what they're going to get. There shouldn't be any surprises. For example, I don't always wear blue, but I felt like it was important to be in my brand colors for this interview because this is called Brand You. And so although we're at Winston-Salem State, normally I wear red when I come over here for things, but we're talking about branding.
Right.
And so I'm in my brand colors.
Right.
I think it's important to create what it is you want people to know about you. You shouldn't be one way on social media, and then we meet you and you're a completely different person. One of the biggest compliments I think I get is when people meet me and they say, "You're exactly the same as you are on Instagram."
Right.
Thank you. That's what I want you to say. I don't want you to say, "Oh, that was an act."
Right.
I want to show up the same. So you know what you're getting. I want to look the same, so I'm not doing heavy filtering and making myself look a whole lot different than I truly am. When you go on Instagram and you see that, that's me.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I was done up for Tabitha. More makeup than I wear on a normal day, but it was Tabitha. I didn't come correct.
I got you. And you did.
But, yeah, I think you need to be consistent in that branding if you are building a brand. I'm not saying you can't show up. You can't run to Target in your T-shirt. I don't dress like this to run my errands. But when it's time to do work, I'm on brand. I think that's important. I think it's important I talk about the community a lot, but it's a reciprocal relationship. So many people have been here for me. I try to be there for people as well. When you asked me to do this, I drove from Raleigh to do this because you asked. You deserve that because you do good work.
Thank you.
You have done so much to put Winston-Salem State on in that period when I was like, oh goodness, what am I gonna do? I did some work for HBCU Game Day, thanks to you and to Tali.
Right, shout out to Tali.
And so it is my duty to say yes when you ask. I'm happy to do that, but we've got to look out for each other. If you can be of service to somebody, do it. I'm not saying be a doormat. You can't say yes to everything. But when you can, say yes.
Look, I appreciate it. You set the bar really high. As the number one guest, I appreciate it so much. I want to give you your flowers again. Just appreciate everything that you are. Not only in the community to WSSU, but just as a person. And as someone that I look up to. I remember when I came into school and I would hear about you, and I think you were able to come to some of the mass comm. I wasn't at some of those mass comm things, and again, I always appreciate you for your time, giving of your time and your talents, and I'm so thankful the God's been able to bless you and that you're a blessing to others as well. So
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. Well, guys, this is episode 1 of the Brand You podcast. It's gonna be tough to top this, but I'm gonna have to try. I can't just retire after 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure I'm gonna send all of Valonda's links below, and we will catch you guys on the next one.